Let's take a closer look and understand what is happening in the background when we open a browser window and then go to test.k6.com. Our browser will send a message to the server that is running the website. We call this a request as it is requesting some data. Essentially, it is saying, give me this page. The server has received the message, understood what we wanted, and sent back another message, which we call the response. To make this communication possible, we have used HTTP. HTTP is a protocol that enables the client, in this case a browser, and the server, which actually runs the website, to communicate. A protocol is essentially a set of rules that both parties need to follow. Most websites and APIs use HTTP, and it is essential to understand some basics around HTTP to be able to interact with web applications from K6. In a K6 script, at the beginning of an address, you should probably see HTTPS. This means HTTP secure. This is what S stands for, secure. For this course and our general interaction with web applications, HTTP and HTTPS are essentially the same. For simplicity, we always refer to the protocol as HTTP, but whenever possible, we should always use the secure version HTTPS. Using the secure version HTTPS ensures that any data we send is encrypted and nobody can read any messages we send or retrieve. So let's go ahead and break down the HTTP messages so that we understand what they contain. Here is a simplified version of what a request contains. It has an address, request method, headers, and a body. And the response contains a status code, headers, and also a body. Let's make a quick analogy to a traditional postal letter. The envelope is the request, which has different components. The request method and the URL are like the address where the letter should go. The headers are some additional information added to the envelope, like a postage stamp indicating that you have paid for it, or a barcode. This adds some additional data that help the postal service deliver your letter much faster. And finally, the body, and this is actually the content of the letter itself. Just as with the letter, with HTTP, we need to follow some conventions. We need to create HTTP messages in a way that a website or an API can understand them. Just as with a letter, if we fail to include some mandatory information, the message may not get delivered, or the recipient may not understand what we wanted. Which conventions we need to follow are typically detailed in the API documentation when we're trying to use an API. We will dig deeper into HTTP requests and response messages throughout this section. In this lecture, I just wanted to give you a quick overview.